Hi, I'm Andy from Game Sophistry, and here is our interview with Dave Craven, the creative director of High Moon Studios, in the upcoming game Transformers: The Fall of Cybertron. So, Dave, what can players expect when they pick up their copy?
Well, it's nothing short of the definitive Transformer game of all time. And I'm not even kidding in saying that. We have everything that you would want as a fan. And if you are being on the cusp of a fan, if you've always wanted to get into Transformers, this is the perfect game to do it. Our story starts at the tail end of their Autobots and Decepticon Civil War on their home planet of Cybertron, and the good guys have lost. And so Optimus Prime, who's the leader of the Autobots, has made the call that it's time to go. They don't even know where they're going, but their future's out there in the stars somewhere. Megatron, who's leader of the Decepticons, is not about to let that happen. He blames the Autobots for everything that has gone wrong with the planet, and he just wants to wipe them out. And that's where our story begins.
Now, where will players be going in Fall of Cybertron, and who can they look forward to playing as?
Well, we have a wide variety of characters. You've got some of your, old favorites like Optimus Prime, Megatron, Bumblebee, and then we have some brand new ones that you'll never have played before, like Bruticus, who's a combination of 5 Transformers into one. Grimlock and the Dinobots are in the game, and Grimlock is a fire-breathing space T-Rex. And each character has their own power, if you will, an ability that really varies up the gameplay for the player. So when I play as Jazz, for instance, I have a grappling hook that gets me in and out of trouble. When I play as Optimus, I can call in artillery strikes or command my big buddy, who's a guy named Metroplex, who's literally a city-sized transformer. He's at your beck and call on the battlefield, and he'll take things out for you. So a wide variety of characters, and I think fans and non-fans alike are going to love it.
Absolutely. Now, will players need to pick up your original Transformers game, War for Cybertron, to follow the narrative in this game?
No. We took a lot of care in the story into appealing both to fans and people who don't have any knowledge of Transformers at all. There's enough story in there that if you're new to it, you can follow it. I think it's a very emotional story, unlike anything that we've ever done before. It is the end of their world, and I think how we present that, no matter what your background is, no matter what your knowledge is of Transformers, there's something you can connect with there. But there's also more story there if you want it. So it's really up to the player if they want to explore more. There's more story for them to find, and at the very least, players will be able to run and gun and enjoy the story on the surface.
Sounds excellent. Now, you kind of hinted on it a bit there, but what are some of the big advancements you've tried to incorporate from the first game to this one in terms of narrative, in terms of gameplay? What have you done to kind of amp it up to the next level with Fall of Cybertron?
Well, there were a lot of things that we wanted to do from War for Cybertron, and then we also listened very closely to what the fans were after and critics. And one of probably the biggest thing that people wanted was variety in gameplay. And I feel like we've delivered on that in spades with this, with the variety of characters they can do. Each character has a different power. The AI has been redesigned from the ground up. So you're battling, smarter enemies who react to you much better. It makes for a better minute-to-minute, gameplay experience. The story is more epic. We put a lot more effort into the story and making it as interactive as possible for the player so that you're really a part of it and you're experiencing the story as it goes along as opposed to just watching a cutscene all the time. And on the multiplayer side, we've added that we're very proud of our character creation system. So you'll be able to create your own Transformer like never before. There's literally thousands of options that you can customize your own guy, however you want it, and and even small things like host migration. So when you're playing, if you're hosting, and or you're playing someone who's hosting and they're getting tired of you kicking their butt, and they take off, it'll automatically host to or migrate to a new host. So lots of little enhancements, but lots of big things as well.
Yeah, the ability to actually make your own Transformer seems a very, very unique and innovative mechanic that I haven't seen in a lot of Transformers games before.
Yeah, well, you've never seen it
Yeah.
like this before, for sure. And we think players are going to, spend hours and hours just doing that.
Absolutely, yeah. It seems like it. Now, there is such a massive amount of source material to choose from whenever you're making a Transformers game. Now, does Fall of Cybertron, excuse me, draw more from the original comic books toys than the relatively recent movie franchise, or where do you draw from?
Well, we take a lot of inspiration from G1.
Okay.
And so, in the timeline of things, our game takes place, millions of years before the Transformers even come to Earth. So, you could say that the Michael Bay films are an entirely different timeline. They're on their own thing. We work very closely with Hasbro to make sure that our story fits into their story, and they approve everything we do. And as far as they're concerned, this is canon. We've rewritten some of the old G1. We've reinvented some characters, or at least origins of them, like the Dinobots and Insecticons. But Hasbro approves everything, and it is now a part of their canon of Transformers history.
Wonderful. Now, as a creative director, what are some of the difficulties of writing these stories with these established characters? You said it yourself, you're now creating new canon. When you're creating these stories, do you ever kind of look back and worry that you may not be true to these characters that have been developed for years and years and years?
Well, honestly, no, because
excellent.
what we look at it as we're huge fans
Hmm
of Transformers. Many of us here at the studio at High Moon grew up with these guys. We love them. We know these characters, and we work very, very closely with Hasbro. So I think, if you took a step back, you could be paralyzed by that, but I see it, and I think we all see it as an opportunity, like, well, okay, if we're the stewards of this franchise, what would we like to do as fans?
Absolutely.
And if you treat it like that, and if you make the kind of game that we would love, like that we would love to buy and spend time with, and we think the majority of fans are going to come along with that. So it's just, we have a huge reverence for the franchise and for these characters, and I think we treat them quite well.
Absolutely. Now, personally, you said yourself you're a massive fan. What is your favorite moment so far from playing Fall of Cybertron? I know it'll be difficult,
Honestly,
but try and pick one, yeah.
It is, because there's something, I mean, it sounds like a cliche, but there's honestly something I love about each level and each character that you play, and that was by design. We wanted something special in every moment of the game. Probably my favorite stuff I can't talk about because I don't want to spoil it for people who are going to play it. But certainly, it starts off with such a great bang. If you download the demo right now, the Bumblebee level, which is actually the tutorial level for the game, I think sets the tone masterfully. And it just goes on from there. I would encourage everybody to check it out.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again, Dave. I really do appreciate it. When is Fall of Cybertron coming out, and for what systems?
It's in stores tomorrow, so rush out and get it. It's on Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and there's also the PC as well.
You heard it first here. Thank you again for talking to us. I'm Andy Borkowski from Video Game Sophistry.